Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in Oregon in the United States. And I'm having some technical difficulties. If you can hear me, go ahead and let me know. I'm going to hope that the internet holds out. And then let's go see who we've got on and see if I can see your comments. And there we go. Let's get that up. All right, so no comments yet, so here we are. All right, I hope everybody finds me. I know I'm a couple of minutes late. I was trying to get my internet to work, and for some reason, my phone will not find the extender internet. And yeah, so that's making difficult, and hopefully we'll have a good connection and things will work well. It's not the network I generally use that I'm on, but we're going to have to because the other one will not come up. I reset the phone, did all that stuff, and nothing. So we're just going to go with it and hope it works out. Hello, Cynthia. And see how things go. And if I lose you, then we'll come back. And if not, then I don't know what the weather's doing. So anyway, all right. Our first card tonight that we're going to make is using Shepherd's Care. I've got a little technique for you that I don't know if anyone else has done it before or not, but I thought of it when I was making this card yesterday, and I really liked the way it turned out. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the first project of Shepherd's Care. And we'll go from there. I've got to move my laptop up out of my way. Right now it's where it shouldn't be sitting, on my table. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I don't think I need that. And we'll bring in our pieces. So here's our card pieces. We're going to be doing some embossing. Our ink pads that we're going to do tonight are Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, and Crumb Cake for this card. And let's see. All right, let's go ahead and get our stamping done and get that out of the way. Shepherd's Care is a 9-piece rubber cling mount set. So we've got that, and what happened to, there it is. We're going to need this. So I've got some masks that we're going to be using, and let's go ahead and get this stamped. So our card base is Misty Moonlight, and this is a standard A2 5.5 by 8.5 and scored in the center at 4 1/4. Hi, Tracy. And then our focal image piece is a piece of basic white, and this is 3 1/4 by 4.5. And let's make sure I cut it correctly because I was having some issues. So I've mounted my stamps into my stamp positioning tool because I'm going to be embossing, and the way I'm embossing, I'm going to need to double stamp. So we're going to start, and I started with the shepherd and the Bethlehem image. And I'm just going to put this in my stamp positioning tool. I'm going to take some Crumb Cake ink, and I'm going to ink that up in Crumb Cake. And I'm going to stamp that down. Okay. And that's a really nice image. So I'm going to close this up for the moment. I will need that again. And we're going to clean this stamp. Okay. Oh, that wasn't good. That just fell down. That's okay. So we've got that cleaned. Now we're going to take our Versamark ink. I'm going to dry that with my hand. I'm going to take my Versamark ink after I take my embossing buddy, which the embossing buddy is not so important on this this particular part because we're using clear embossing powder. So we get a few little clear specks here and there. It really won't matter, so you're not going to see them. So now we're going to ink this up with Versamark ink. I'm going to give that a really good inking. Okay. And bring that over. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Laura. Okay. So we've got that. Peel that off of there. That's stuck pretty nicely. I'm going to set this aside for the moment and bring in my Embossing Additions toolkit and the Wow Clear Embossing Powder. And then we're just going to emboss this. I'm thinking my room has got to be a little bit damp. Whoa. Okay, I should be good and inked now. Okay, so I'll just funnel this right back into the jar and close that up also for the moment. We're not done with that. And then we're going to bring in our heat tool, and I'm dropping everything all over the floor. Okay, so I'm going to heat that up, and I'm doing it off to the side. And then I'm going to take and heat the back, and then I'll heat the front. Hang on. I see some spots before I get too far and get that I see some clear powder I don't really want. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can tell that that's heated because it's going from a dull color to a nice shiny bright crumb cake. Okay, we'll put that back on the back. That worked. Okay, and when you see it's all shiny, then you're done. You don't want to overheat the powder because if you do, it will become dull. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to go ahead and set this aside for a minute because we've got more stamping and embossing to do. So I'm just going to set that aside. And we're going to bring back in our tool. And I'm going to clean this. Okay, and then I'm going to dry that off. I'm going to flip this around. And I'm going to take a scrap piece of basic white. And I'm going to put this down. And we're going to repeat that process, this time with Night of Navy. Okay, so I've got my sentiment, and I'm doing that in Night of Navy. And I want that nice and dark, so I'm going to re-ink it. Okay, and then we're done with the Night of Navy for now. We're going to clean this off. Okay, and then we're going to take our Versamark and let's get our embossing buddy. Okay, then we'll take our Versamark ink. The embossing buddy's supposed to take off any static, finger oils, all those things that the embossing powder could stick where you don't want it to. So now we've inked that up in Versamark. I'm going to press that down. Okay. And then I'm going to pick this up. And again, I'm going to set that aside. Bring back in our tray. And the same clear ink, or same clear powder. Okay, we've got that. Okay, with Versamark, you don't have to be super fast because it is a sticky ink and doesn't dry immediately. And then we're going to take our heat tool and heat that back up. Okay, and you can see that turning, and it's done. Okay, so we've got that. I think I got, yeah, that's good. All right, so we're done with the embossing, so we can set that completely aside. We'll set aside the Versamark because we won't need that again. And now we're going to take our die. And this die is from the Changing Leaves dies. It's one of my favorite label dies. And I'm going to put this on here. Ooh, that was almost not long enough. That scrap piece of paper. I should have measured that. I don't have that sentiment on there quite straight either. Okay, that looks pretty straight. So let's run this through our mini cut and emboss machine. And when I'm cutting this, I'm stamping it clear over to the left. Or I'm cutting it. Did I say cutting or stamping? I don't know what I said, but I'm cutting it so that my sentiment is clear over to the right, not the left. Oh my goodness. Where is my brain? All right, so we've got that. And no, I'm not going to alter that die. I know, you're amazed, aren't you? I have another plan for this. This is my new technique that I don't know if somebody else thought of or it's just me. I don't know. Okay, so let me put this die aside. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to clean this off. Okay, and now we're going to take and put this back. And I've already stamped this image on a Post-it note, just so I know exactly where the image will stamp in the base here. And then I'm going to take a little bit of temporary adhesive. You could use whatever to stick this down. I don't need much. I just want to ensure that this does not move. And then I'm going to place my sentiment label over my image here. And I'm going to do it about like this. Okay. Trying to make sure that that's straight. And then I'm going to take my crumb cake ink, and I don't need to ink the whole image, I just need the middle section. I do want to make absolute certain I don't end up with any excess ink. So that would be tragic. Okay, then I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp it right on top of my sentiment. Label there. And then when I pull this off, now you can see that I have part of that image there. Okay, so let's set this aside. And while I've got this out, I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off. And then we're going to set this aside because we're done with this now. Okay, now let's go ahead and finish. Let's go ahead and work on this piece. So I'm going to take a mask that I have pre-cut with the Stampin' Up! Masking paper. If I can get it off this plastic, which you'd think it wouldn't stick very good to the plastic envelope here. Okay, and I'm going to add this to my 2 images. I found that when I started this, I was thinking, oh, I could do emboss resist, and that didn't work out very good with this particular image because this particular image has a lot of open area in the center. So I just cut a mask. I stamped it and then I hand cut it out. Remember, when you're making masks, that you want to cut just inside the image line. Wow, I'm surprised at how well that stuck. I'm going to go to the top. It's starting to rip, and I do not want to start over on this. Okay, come on, peel off, peel off, peel, banana, peel, peel, banana. Don't rip. Okay. Wow, I should have set it on the silicone sheet, then it wouldn't have stuck that well. Okay, so now I'm just going to lay this down, matching this up, and going just inside that line. The thing about it is because this is embossed, it doesn't stick that hard to the image. And I've already used this mask once, so you would think that it would not be this sticky. Some good masking paper. Okay, so I think we're good here. Got that down. Ooh, you can't lift up. You got to stay. Okay, so I've put my masks on. Now I've taken a piece of Post-it note, and all I did was I cut this, or I tore it, and because I didn't tear it where the sticky part was, I got to use some temporary adhesive. So I want this to cover up a portion so that it looks like they're standing in the snow or something. Not that it probably snows in Jerusalem, but that's okay. It's my card. So I'm just giving it a different ground here. And then I'm going to bring in Misty Moonlight. And put myself down some ink to my glass mat studio. I need these pieces to really stick. Come on. And then I'm going to take my blending brush and I'm going to start at the top. And I'm going to add some ink. And I need that to stay. So I do not want blue on his hat. Wow. I don't think it was a very good idea to stick that down on my envelope. Okay, I'm going to go all the way down here. Okay, then I'm going to go back and grab some more of that ink. And this time I'm only going to go down to about here. Okay, I'm going to grab that plastic so I don't get ink all over my fingers. I'm going to try. So I'm just going to go like this and work my way back. I'm trying not to hit that. I want to go this direction so I don't get blue on that hat that I don't want. Okay, so we've got that. And just put as much as you think you want. Okay. All right, then I'm happy with that. So I don't know if you can see the difference. I've got darker at the top, lighter at the bottom. And to finish that off now, I'm going to bring in the Night of Navy ink. And I don't need a bunch of that. And I got to figure out, it's separated. That's what happened. My masking sticky separated when it pulled off that plastic. So now I got to be super careful. I'll just go this direction. And then we'll just work around it. That's just what we do. Okay. And now I've got some darker color right here at the top, like I wanted. Okay. All right. So now I've got 3 shades, and I'll remove that mask. I'm happy with that. And sorry guys, I'm just getting my fingers clean because I don't want to get stuff. Okay, what did I do with that? Okay, well, let me grab a baby wipe. I had my my mask from the glass studio all wet and ready to go. And now I don't see the case. Oh, it's right here in front of my nose. Good grief. I actually cut mine into quarters because my friend said that was a good idea, Tracy, and I liked it, so I did it. Okay, so now I can clean that up. And I really like these because they don't leave it wet. Okay, so there we go. That's all clean. That's why I made sure I got that done. Okay, now let's reveal. I don't want to get the masking all over or the ink all over my thing. And we'll pull this up. Oh, good. I didn't get the blue. Yay! Okay, and there is our image now. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's start putting our card together. Now, where did I put that card base out of the way at? So I've got my card base, and you guys, I'm having a lot of trouble getting my card bases to fold without one side longer than the other. So the last few cards I've taken in, let me get these ink pads out of the way so you can see fully. I've just taken and I'm putting these right into the corner of my Simply Scored tool so that everything is headed against the boards. And I'm finding that I'm getting better results with the edges. Okay, so if you're having that trouble, that is just a tip for you. Okay, so we've got a piece of Misty Moonlight, and then I've got a piece of the Sentimental Christmas Designer Series paper, Now this is the Stampin' Up! Give Back paper. It's a 12 by 12 paper stack. $3 of every stack of this paper goes to help children's literacy. And those are the designs that we have in that paper. So I'm using the snowflake pattern. You get 2 sheets of each of those 6 double-sided designs. So we're going to go ahead and add this to our card base. We'll put this on. All right, like so. And then we're going to add our focal image. To a Night of Navy base, and this is 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. It's just a 1/4 inch bigger, or 1/8 of an inch bigger than the 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Okay, I've got a little bit of that temporary adhesive left behind. I'm just going to take and make sure I get that off. Okay, there we go. All right, so now this is ready for our card base. And let's bring in our sentiment. We're going to add our sentiment on, and I'm just going to add this on flat. I'm going to take some Stampin' Seal, and then I'm going to line up my image on here with my image here. I got to get it lined up just right. Here we go. Okay, that all looks like it's lining up well. I'm going to just give it a press, and the sentiment blends in here at the end and looks like it's part of the scene. Okay, so then we're going to add this to our card base with some dimensionals, because we have to pop something up. And you probably don't need to use this many dimensionals, but I want to make sure that nothing sags in the mail. And then I'm going to take a mini, and I'm going to put that right here at the end of my sentiment. Okay, and then we'll take the wax paper backing off. We'll see if this works. I put this on afterwards last time, so we'll see how that works. And then we're just going to center this up. And there we go. Okay, the last thing that we need to put on here is some of the iridescent faceted gems, just to add a little bit of sparkle. And this, I got lucky on this one. I've got some snowflakes here that I can put some little gems in. And then we'll move this one down, and we'll put it down. I'm going to put it all off. I like my gems, if I'm going to put my gems, I like to put it off of the raised area so that they don't stand up more than the dimensionals. Okay, so there's that. Now for the inside of our card, I took a 1/2 inch strip that I cut off the bottom of this, and I added. I took the praying that you will feel the Good Shepherd's care. I stamped that in crumb cake, and then I took a little wild wheat and did 2nd generation stamping with the big star. And as you can see, I made a mistake on the back, but you know, there are 2 sides of the card stock for a reason. Okay, so there we go. That is our first card. I hope you like it. This is how I did the envelope for those. And that is our card made with the Shepherd's Care. I hope you like those. or that card. It's one that you actually could easily duplicate quickly, especially if you didn't do that second stamping there. So anyway, there we go. That is card number 1. So let's put that aside and we'll move on to card number 2. And I actually like that card so much. That's my 3rd card with that because I really liked how it turned out. Thanks, you guys. I'm glad you like it too. Okay, so this card that we're about to make came about kind of funny. When I was in my studio yesterday crafting, I was playing. I wasn't feeling very creative, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to play with the Naughty and Nice stamp set. This is an online exclusive, and just see what I can make with it. And I started out thinking, oh, I'll just make a little tag. So my little tag ended up being this super cute little tag. And when I showed it to my granddaughter Caitlin, she said, oh, awesome, those are Santa tags. And I thought, okay, well, that's great. But now I can't make a card. All right, now I can't do that for you because, it's the secret of Santa. So we're going to, so last night then I was sitting here thinking, well, what could I do? And I thought, you know what? I'm going to turn that into a card. And I'm not going to turn it into just any card. I'm going to turn that into a gift card holder. So this is how this card came about. And so we're going to start with a piece of basic white. Now, if you stamp on the back of your cards, I recommend that you stamp now. It's much easier to stamp now than it is later. Okay, so I've got my card base, and this is a piece of thick basic white, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's a quarter sheet of cardstock. Then I took a piece of bubble bath cardstock, and this one I cut at 3 1/4 by 8 1/2. And the way I came up with that measurement, I really took an inch off of here, and then so I took an inch off of the 5 1/2, and then I went, well, so maybe I'll do 3 inches. And then I went, no, I'm going to stick that at 3 1/4 because 3 inches was too narrow. And that's what I came up with, was 3 1/4. I didn't use anyone else's measurements. This is what I came up with on my own and how I wanted to do it. So we have 3 1/4 by 8 1/2, and I've scored it in half at 4 1/4. Okay, so this is basically going to be the star of the show. Okay, so we've got this. So let's go ahead and bring back in our base. And we've got some pieces of the Take a Bow paper. This is a 6 by 6 paper stack, and it's different because you only get 4 designs, double-sided, and you get 12 sheets of each one. And this is designed to go with the Take a Bow bundle so that you can make bundles, or so you can make bows. And just so you know what those bows look like, this came from my friend Cynthia, and she made this with the bow die. Take a Bow die. So it just cuts strips of paper for you, and then you glue them together and you make these beautiful bows. And this is actually the paper that was designed to go with that bundle. But of course you can make them out of whatever. So here are the designs for that. I love these because they're great card making designs. They're small to fit the bow size, so they work great for card fronts. Okay, so we're going to take a piece of 1 inch strips. These are 1 inch by 4 1/8. And I'm going to add these first so that I can center up my card. Okay, so we're going to put this on here like this with even borders on 3 sides as best we can. And I'm just going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal here. And then I like to match up my thing. Now I found it easier to match it up and then flip it for whatever reason. It just worked easier for me to center. Okay, so there we go. Still making sure I'm good here. Now I can go ahead and add this to my card. All right, so let's add this, and I'm actually going to add this with liquid glue so that I have a little bit of wiggle room. Come on, Tumble, get moving. All right, so I've got our glue here. Okay. And then I'm going to take and center this up. I'm going to do it for the bottom. I'm going to center that up as best I can here. And then I'm going to stand this up so that my bottom edge meets the bottom edge of the base card. I found that was the easiest way for me to do it. Okay, so now this is our card base. Okay, so we're going to open up like this. Now we're going to set this aside and we're going to do some stamping. Oh, you know what? I don't think I cut. I did not. That was silly. Okay, let's see. What size is this? Oops. Okay, you guys, I forgot to cut the tag and we need the tag. So let's get that done and that's going to fit through there. Normally I have that all cut for you, but I forgot to cut this particular piece. So we're going to take from Greetings of the Season, and I'm taking the largest tag die. You guys know, if you've been watching me, that I love this set. And I'm going to pop this in here, and I'm going to run that through. And then I'll probably find it in that envelope. Because, you know, that's how things work, right? Okay. So now we've got our tag. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and just set those there. And we'll set that tag aside. And then we'll get on our stamping. I have pre-cut out of Real Red the pocket die. And this is the second of the middle-sized pocket die. These actually come with, or they did at one time, a stamp set, but I recommend you just get the pockets. All right, so you get 3 of those, and this second one, that the middle one, is designed specifically to fit a gift card. So we're going to bring this in, and we're going to bring in some Real Red ink. And I'm taking the little stamp Wrapped with Love. This is from the set here. I don't want to clean this, so let me grab a little scrap here. Okay, just because I don't want to clean it. I don't want to clean my glass mat. Now I'm just going to randomly stamp on here. I don't need to worry about these sides because they're going to get tucked under. But I do want some of my stamping to look like it's gone off the edge. Okay, so I'm happy with that. All right, now let's set this aside. And let's stamp our other smaller images. So we need a piece of scrap. I'm going to start with this smaller piece. And we're going to bring in the little Santa hat and the little elf feet and the Memento Tuxedo black ink, which I have put into a craft white pad that when I bought it was uninked. And instead of putting the white craft ink refill on it, I put the Memento refill. Okay, so I've got those images. Now I need one more scrap. I don't know why I didn't put where did I set all that white I had setting here for this? I don't know. Oh my goodness. It's okay. We've got plenty of white scrap just sitting here, right at my fingertips. So let's do that. Now we're going to take bubble bath ink. And we're going to ink the large circle from that stamp set. And I'm going to ink it over here and kind of close to the bottom because I want to be able to punch this out with a punch. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. This is in the online exclusives. And I'm just going to center that up and punch it out. Okay. All right. And then we're going to color these. So let's grab our blends. Move these out of the way. So these are our blends. And we're using Dark Real Red, Shy Shamrock combo, and the Dark Shaded Spruce combo. And the, let me get rid of those. They're in my way. Move all this stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to take a touch of the Dark Real Red, and I'm just going to put the little dot right there on the tip of the elf shoes. Okay, and then I'm going to take my light and dark shaded spruce. I'm going to start with my dark, and there's some little dots on these elfy shoes, and then I'm just going to do the very tips with the dark. They're very tiny, so it's not a lot, and you could not shade if you choose. And then I'm just going to fill those in. And then I wanted a little bit of contrast with the socks, so I'm going to start with a dark Shy Shamrock because the color wheel tells me that I can. And the color wheel in the catalog includes the in colors. So I'm going to color that. Oh, and while I had the dark and light shaded spruce out, I should have colored his hat. I colored the hat. Okay, so let's go back to the dark shaded spruce. I'm going to put a little bit of shading along here, and then right there. And then I'm going to go back and just color that in. And when I'm shading from a small area, I like to work away from that tiny area so that it doesn't bleed out. Okay. Okay, so there we are. Now, the last thing to do with this is to take our Wink of Stella and we're going to touch on those dots of red, and then we're going to put some Wink on the fur on the hat. Okay, and that is all of our coloring. That's it. Okay, now there's no dies for this, so you got a fussy cut. I know it's tiny and it's fussy cutting. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to show you a trick on how I did these so I can attach them easily. Okay? So, because you can tell if you cut these, they're going to fall apart, right? So, one, I want to leave glue tabs at the top. So I'm going to start over here because I always want to think about where I want to end up versus where I'm starting. And then I'm going to take that, hopefully that focuses for you. And between those shoes, I'm going to leave just the tiniest bit of white right there in the center. And then we're going to go around this. I'm leaving just the tiniest white border. I don't want to cut on the line, and I don't want a wide border. Okay, so now here, I'm just going to cut this up like this. And then I'm going to decide how much of a glue tab I want there. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to go down here like this, leaving that glue tab. I'm going to come down to the heel of the elf shoe. And again, I'm going to leave just the tiniest bit of white between those heels. And cut that straight up. And then come back to here. Now I've got this tab even to hold on to. And we're going to turn that with my left hand so that I get a nice smooth cut. And there are my teeny tiny little elf shoes. And instead of being apart, they're together. Okay, one image. Now, you'll have to fussy cut the hat too. But because I'm making tags, I already have a bunch of those pre-cut, so you don't have to watch that. It's already done. Well, I thought I put a hat in here. Hang on one moment. Let me find where I put that stamp set because I know I've got a whole bunch in there already cut. Okay, so let's grab a hat. So we've got our hat and our shoes, and we can set this aside. We're done with that. All right, so here are our pieces now. Got that, and let's start assembling. We do need to stamp one more thing on here and one more thing on here. So on here, on this circle, we're going to take the sentiment from the North Pole Elves, and we're going to stamp that in shaded spruce. Okay, and I'm going to stamp it toward the bottom of my circle. And you'll see why in a minute. Okay, then I'm going to take my Shy Shamrock. And I'm going to stamp, well, before I do that, hang on. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me close that up. Because before I do anything else, I need to stamp naughty and nice right here. So I need the real red ink. I'm going to take the naughty nice sentiment. And I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to put it down here in the bottom left corner. Like so. And now we're going to assemble this piece so that we can dry fit it to know where to stamp this. Okay? So to add the elf feet, what I've done is, hang on, hopefully I don't move you, getting my silicone mat out from underneath the camera stand. Okay, so I'm going to get some liquid glue, and I'm going to take my little feet and put some glue right there. And then I'm going to take my circle to my feet and line that up. Okay, so just like that. And now you know why we have the little glue tab. Okay, then I'm going to take my hat, which is sticking for some reason to my glass mat here. And I've got a little bit of stickiness on my mat apparently. And I'm going to put just the tiniest bit of glue right here at the edge of the hat. This is just to as a temporary means. And you guys, I'm looking for my third hand here. Okay, then I'm going to take my little hat and I'm going to put this up here. And I'm going to try to set it right at the edge of the circle there. And put that on so it looks like it's sitting on the circle. And now you see why we stamp that low. Okay? Because now hit the little ball of the hat does not interfere with our sentiment. Okay, well, let's go ahead and turn this over. And I'm going to first secure the hat better with a dimensional and do the same thing with the feet. And then I'll add a couple more. Okay, and now we can set this aside. And this is going to go in here. So I want to take this and I want to stamp it about halfway between this sentiment and that hole. And this is from the Shy Shamrock, or in the Shy Shamrock. All of these stamps that I'm using are from the Naughty and Nice stamp set. Okay, I might have got that a little high. I'm going to make that work though. All right, and then I'm just going to set this like this. It's going to be fine. Take off those backings. I'm going to add this in the center there. Try to center that up. Okay, like so. All right. Now, let's go ahead and let's start adding. Let's add this first, though, because this will be easier to add now. So we're just going to put this on here after we take the Shy Shamrock Stampin' Write marker. And take this Stampin' Write Shy Shamrock. I'm going to make sure it's Shy Shamrock. I got it right. So, yeah. And then I'm going to check nice. And we're going to add this to our card base here. Okay, and we're going to do that with some Stampin' Seal. I'm going to add that a little low of center, but centered left to right. Okay, so we've got that. Now, let's go ahead and take our pocket here. And I've got a gift card. I like to do these this way. I'm going to slip a gift card in here. And then I'm going to take some liquid glue. And actually, I'm going to use this one. It's easier for this stuff. I want to make sure that I've got a nice crisp edge here. My bone folder. And then I'm going to make sure that I put my glue at the edge here so that I'll get a nice, clean, solid edge to the paper. And I'll do that on all of these corners and the edge of the fold. And I'm using just the tiniest bit of glue because I definitely don't want this to ooze out. And if you get too much, you can set it aside to dry a bit before you add it. And that will help you. Just a little tip. And then we're going to open this up. And well, first of all, we should put our gift card in the right direction. And then we're going to add this to the inside right. Whoops, I didn't get that centered up very good. Let's try that again. Just the good thing about liquid glue. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Make sure my gift card is in there the way it needs to be. And then I'll take my bone folder while the gift card is in there and give it a nice press. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it and press it this way too. Okay, so now that should hold very nicely. All right, we're almost finished. For the inside now, because you have this, but you don't have anywhere to write, so I took a piece of 3 by 4 inch basic white, and from Greetings of the Season, which is the same, this is part of that bundle that I used the dies from. I've used the May Your Holiday Season Be Filled with Warmth, and I am going to add this right here. And I used way more Stampin' Seal than I normally do for that inside piece. Oops. Okay, so there we go. Now, we've got 2 more things to add to this and we'll be done. So I'm going to take the Real Red and White Baker's Twine. This just came back into stock, by the way. So I ordered it last night. I ordered another roll because I need it for my tags. And I'm just going to tie a little bow using my bow jig. And we'll take that off of there. And then we're going to take a glue dot. And center that on the glue dot. And then I like to take my tweezers and squeeze that glue dot. And then I'm going to stick it right over the hole. Okay, so now we've got that. And finally, the last thing that we're going to put on here, and I know these are out of stock again, but I'm going to add my peppermints anyway. They'll be back in December 23rd, they say. So hopefully you have some on hand, and if not, you've got some other little thing you can put on. So we're going to, I'm going to start with actually I have medium ones. I don't have any of the large ones in this pack. So I'm going to put one down here. Then I'm going to take a small one. And I'm going to put it up here. And I'll take another small one and put it over here. Okay. And there is our pocket gift card holder. I hope you like that. And the matching envelope looks like this. So I did the hat on there. I put a Merry Christmas. And then this bow also comes from that Naughty and Nice, and I colored that in Real Red. I stamped it in Cherry Cobbler and colored it in Real Red. So remember when you're coloring in your envelopes to put a piece of cardstock on the inside so that your blends don't bleed through. Now let's bring back in our other card that we made. There we are. There are our projects for tonight. I hope you like those, and I hope you find that Pocket gift card very helpful. All right, everybody. Hopefully I'll be back on Thursday night on YouTube, and then I'll see you again next Tuesday, here on the live. And right now my plan is to use Humble Home, as it's scheduled to come back into stock on December 2nd. So be checking if that's on your list, the Humble Home bundle. Be checking, because it could come back earlier than December 2nd, and you don't want to miss out before it sells out again. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Everybody have a great week, and I'll see you later. Good night.